Hello, my beautiful words of love. My name is Sabrina, and welcome to this Let's Talk. Today we're going to explore the divine masculine and divine feminine, and this working together as one, in unison, instead of working apart and divided. And I'm bringing this up because a lot of people, clients in my sessions, talk a lot about this. They have an inability to receive. I've experienced this. Throughout my whole lifetime, it's hard for me to receive love, support, money, because I always think it's laced with something else, right? Like, oh, okay, or I feel independent, or I feel like I don't need any of that. I don't need this because I'm strong, independent woman. I'm a superwoman, right? So, and the more and more I move through this journey and I evolve in this journey, I'm like, wow, man, it's so distorted. But not only the divine feminine in receiving, the divine masculine giving, he's been rejected as well. And it's this whole like blame the patriarchy, and the patriarchy are bullies, and it's just, that's a perception, and that's a narrative and that we all fell for, right? And today I want to explore further into this. So before I begin, I just want to say I'm gonna do pull a card reading after with some key takeaways, divine masculine and feminine. So it's gonna be fun. So stay till the end, because if you're new here, I'm also a tarot reader and I do weekly readings. So you can check out my weekly readings. Also do a podcast, which I'm doing lives, and I have we do have a chakra live series right now, and there's tarot mini series, and we're in season 3 of all of our videos. Go check us out. We come out live once a week, and so welcome. Let's talk. I feel like this is really important subject to bring up again. Like I said, it's just we're all moving through this eye of the storm. We're all moving through on this journey, and it's challenging enough to move through this journey alone as a divine feminine or a divine masculine, whoever's watching. And how amazing would it be if we could merge and we can collaborate with our divine masculine parts, because we are one, right? There is no, like, if you think about it, and I speak often about this, Sabrina, came in as a female, divine feminine, but my higher self and my soul, that's in the process of integrating within me, or without me, or whatever, is a divine masculine energy, right? It's that whole, we are one. We're not one or the other. In physical form, I am feminine. In etheric form, I am masculine. So I'm one. And if we can work together in the now moment like this, as my higher self and my soul is fully integrating within me, that's why it's taking such a long time. Because the outside of us, there is a divide. There's like, oh, I'm better than you, you're better than me, blah, blah. There's this, it's uncomfortable. And the divide outside is creating war. And it's creating a lot of that. It's creating hate and all this low density energy. So let's just dive in. I have my little Empress and Emperor here. They're not little, they're big cards. The Emperor is the divine masculine. He is the giver. He is the doer. He's the action man, right? He is our logic. He is the leader. He's the one who like sets the plans, goes for it. You know, he's a provider, the protector, the warrior. He actually wants to create a safe space for women, and which we'll talk about later, because there is a distorted divine masculine as well, and he has a hard time with that. You know, he's the king of all kings. He's solid. He's a structure. The divine masculine to me also, like, it could be like corporation and government and all that. That is the old world. Now, like that, this is the thing. There is an old energy, and there is like that part patriarchal, matriarchal kind of, but we are moving, integrating. We're integrating. So we're not bringing in that old energy with us when it comes with the divine masculine. And we're not bringing that old feminine energy either, where I am the best, I can do everything, I'm a multitasker, I can I've lost the art of receiving, because that those are the distortions which I'm going to talk about. Okay, so let's get to the Empress, which is the receiver, which is she is the nurturer. She is the healer, the intuitive, the emotional connector. She is the creative entrepreneur, right? She is the one who brings in communities. As much as the king and the queen, like the emperor and the empress, she creates the plan. She figures it out. She gives it to the emperor, and he doles it out, right? So there is a purpose for these two together. And they are strong characters, 100%, as we know. But giver, receiver, doer, beer. Doing, being. And that, like, the dance of the emperor and the empress, the flow, the rhythmic flow of them, when they're working together, there's harmony, there's peace, there's unconditional love. There's like a safe space for both of them to work, to love, to be. There's not, and when it's imbalanced, it feels disconnected. It feels like there's unfulfilled potential. There's like something missing in the world. There's war. There's troubles in paradise. There's so much that's going on in the world because the divine masculine and feminine are in division. They're in like the war amongst themselves. Who's better, who has more power, who makes more money, who does it, and it's like far greater than this. So if we talk a little bit about the distortion of the divine feminine, this receiving, the act of receiving is self-love, right? But in this day and age, in this deep societal conditioning out here, the act of receiving has become weak. Right? It feels like vulnerably, like it's like ew to the vulnerability. It's you're dependent. It feels unbalanced. And like, what does it mean? What is the woman being encouraged to do? We're thrust into society and we're like, you give everything. You give birth to your children and then you send them into daycare and then you go work, honey. You're working, family disconnect. There's no form of family togetherness. It's because the mother is there, the father is there, everyone is seeking power, everyone's seeking status and hierarchy and money, and that's the narrative, right? And it's like the woman is out there multitasking. How many friends do I have of mine that are constantly like, yo man, I just went to pick up soccer practice, I went grocery shopping, I had to go home and I had to clean, and I'm like, yo man, are you for real? Back in my day, my mom was home with us, and she did. I mean, and women that stay at home, it's not like a walk in the park either. It's a lot of work. There's a lot going on, but they're there to support and create a safe space for the children. And even if you're single, like I am single, I don't have children, I'm able to work on myself. And that is the gift that I have given myself on this earth right now, is I'm at a place where I'm able to nurture myself finally. And I had my own business. I worked like a crazy. I was always like working 10, 11-hour days nonstop. It was just like, this is the disconnect that's happening in the world, and it's just still going on. And we're realizing more, and I'm realizing more and more, how am I, like, the only way I'm able to integrate with my higher self and my soul is because I have taken this time for myself to go within. And I don't feel bad about it. And like I've said this many times in other videos, how like when people ask me, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing. And they get triggered by that. They're like, what do you mean nothing, Sabrina? What are you, like, you're not doing anything? I'm like, no. Because I'm actually doing a lot. energetically. You just don't know it, and I won't explain it to you because I'm just sitting and transmuting energies. So like my energies and the collective energies and so forth, and I'm taking in light coding, and I'm upgrading my blueprint and my DNA and blah blah blah. I can go on, and you know what I'm talking about because I talk about this all the time, and that's a lot. But imagine the woman who is working 9 to 5, I guess, and she has children, and there's soccer practice and baseball practice and football practice and ballet, and I'm like, oh my god, like you don't have time for yourself. I have a friend that literally like is busy until 11 p.m. and she hits her head on the pillow and she's like, yo, I don't have time to listen to your videos, Sabrina, because I got no time. And I'm like, I get it. And that's why I started a podcast so my friends could listen to me in their cars. It's like, but it's you know, I laugh about it, but it's not funny because it's actually taken away from women and the divine feminine, and this feeling of doing, which, right, we are the being, we are the receiver, and we're doing, has created a lot of shame and guilt and fear in women. Because we don't feel like we're strong enough. We don't feel independent. Then we burn out and we like go into exhaustion, right? Because we're always giving. And we don't have time to receive. We have nothing to give ourselves. Because we've depleted all our energy to our partners, our life, our children. And there's nothing wrong with the children because definitely you have to give the love to the children and all your partners too and everyone else. But there's a balance, and that's where there's that disconnect. And I feel like there's an emotional disconnect where this emphasis on being independent, which I've talked to many of my clients, even my followers, and we talk a lot about that. It's like this emphasis on independence can leave women struggling to actually express what they need and what they want in their life. And that leads to loneliness. And I know this because I've been very lonely in my life. And very isolated, especially since 2020. We've all like moved in, as we moved and evolved in this journey, we're all like, oh, I don't even know how to express myself anymore. Because, you know, yeah, maybe I do need this and maybe I do need that. But if I say this out loud, then people will think I'm weak. And people will think that I'm not enough. Or people, you know, it's such a... Wow. And I really feel like this topic is so important to bring this. And I know a lot of people, you already know this, but it's just that reminder. Because me too, I know this, but every time I sit back and I'm like, wow, we need to make changes. And this is important right now because women have a distorted self-worth. We don't know how to love ourselves. I always talk about, the only thing we need in this world is love, self-love. The divine masculine and the divine feminine need to love themselves in order to come together. And it kills their spirit to be like spread thin and just drained of energy. And it's we are the nurturers. We are the give. We also give love and support in this, but we have to be able to receive it. And we have shame and guilt that are laced with that. You know, like you're vulnerable. That's like a stigma. It seems weak to be vulnerable, and it's so strong to be vulnerable. To be vulnerable means you're super strong, that you're able to admit, yes, so this is this, and this is like I always like think about this, you know, how many years ago there was this boss bitch and boss lady and this lady, which is fine, empower yourself and you don't need to be gentle and soft. And it's like, no, we need to be gentle and soft, man. Are you going to be a boss bitch with your kids? No, you got to be nurturing and embracing these children and giving them self-worth. And telling them that they don't need to be like strong, independent, the warriors that their fathers or husbands or partners are, right? It's like, why can't we just, like, why do we have to be everything? Like, that's what it is. The divine feminine, went through such a big shift because they were like, I'm everything to everyone, and then they depleted their energy, right? And then they fell into fear mode too, because you're afraid to appear weak. You're afraid to not be enough. Like I'm itchy. Like I have itchy everywhere. I'm gonna lower this. It's time to shift the narrative. That's why I'm doing this video. I think it's time that we need to start receiving as the divine feminine. And I'll talk about the divine masculine, but for now, as the feminine, if you're unable to receive, you're rejecting your true essence on this earth. You came here as the receptor, right? As the receptivity, receptivity vehicle, right? I don't know what I'm saying. And I said, like, receptivity allows the flow of energy to flow, like in my chakras, to flow from your root to your crown. It allows the flow of creativity, allows the flow of energy. And we can practice it by small steps. You know, like if someone gives you a compliment, you say thank you. Don't feel the obligation to say, oh yeah, you too. And how many times do we do that? How many times does someone come and say, hey Sabrina, I'm going to pay you dinner. Oh wow. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to pay you right back. Or Sabrina, you know what? I really appreciate that card reading. I'm giving you like money. And then I'm like, oh my God, I feel bad taking it. Like, what is wrong with all of us? Right? And I know I'm not alone in this. Or this is the best one. Someone opens the door for me. Now, how many women get all like I can open my own door? I'm like, yo, open the door for me. Like, because whether it's a man or a woman opening the door for me, I'm like, yes, thank you very much. This is the distortion, people. And it's like receiving everything. The compliment, the advice, the money, the dinner, the gift. If someone gives you something, doesn't mean you have to re-gift them. Everyone's doing it. If they're doing it laced with expectations, it's not on you. But this is how I've lived a lot like this. Oh, you gave me a gift, so I have to give you back. You know what I'm saying? But it's not that. And that's what I learned more and more as I move through this journey, is that I say thank you. You know, or this is a fun one. Oh my God, how many times is this? I hear this all the time. Oh my God, your top is so amazing. It's so beautiful. Oh yeah, I bought it at Winners, or I bought it at TJ Maxx for like $20. And it's like, you feel bad spending money on yourself. It's so crazy. Like, it's like, oh, don't feel bad. Like, you know, you want to appease everybody around you. Yeah, am I like, are you like under, you're vibing with me here? All right, let's go and move to the distortion of the masculine. Oh, but before we talk about the masculine, I have a note here, nature. I want to talk about this. This is like the perfect example of the human divine feminine, okay? And how she cannot receive. So, Father Sun illuminates the earth and allows for plant growth. Father Sun comes down and brings us, activates our DNA with solar light energy. Father Sun brings us energy, provides vitamin D for the human. Father Sun makes heat, like creates heat to make it livable in this climate, right? Father Sun sets the rhythm of life. Mother Earth says thank you. She doesn't say I owe you one. Like, you're right, like us. She doesn't say like, oh, I'll pay you back. Father Sky does the same thing. He allows for, he pours the rain down to fill in all the bodies of water. He allows for flowers to bloom and trees to leaf and like plants to grow and seeds to harvest, or whatever you call it, right? And he like blows the wind to clean out the dirt and the soil and clean away the pollutants. He cleanses and purifies the air. And Mother Earth says thank you. And she doesn't say I owe you one. Right? This is, I was trying. I love that analogy with the nature, because they are the mirrors of us, and yet we have, as the human feminine, we have a hard time saying, "Oh, thank you." Instead, Father, Son, oh my God, I owe you. Like, right? And this is part of the distortion. So I want to talk about divine masculine because it's a big one and nobody talks about it, and it's very rare. And I feel like the divine masculine has been put in a very awkward place right now, where they're villainized almost, right? Like, oh, you're the villainous patriarchy. To me, the patriarchy is a narrative. It's part of the matrix. It's part of the age of Pisces. It was created and developed like that, and we all fell for it. The masculine and the feminine. We fell into the fear of it. We fell into the power and the hierarchy of it all. And we created it too. Because if you really look back into the starseed history, the fall of Atlantis was because some light beings were bored of Lemuria. It was too perfect, and so they're like, let's create a society where there's status and hierarchy, and ancient Egypt created, right? Where there's gods and goddesses and then lower beings, right? So we can go on and about that. But to me, I feel, and I have a hard time, and this is my personal thing, is that when I'm reading and scrolling through social media, I have a hard time seeing like women circles, women this, women coming together, women this, and where are the men? Why are we excluding the men in this? Because of this patriarchy bullshit? Because the man right now feels freaking rejected and doesn't know how to create a safe space and doesn't know how to express his true nature to a woman. He wants to provide and he wants to protect, and the woman is like, oh no, hello, we don't need that because I am all of it, right? And that's where I feel like how if the divine masculine out there feels lesser than and like afraid of speaking up because then he's a bully and then he's this and that, how is my higher self going to integrate with me if there's that distortion out there, that division, that disunification out there? That's where I get like, oh, that's really interesting. That's why it's taking so long for us to integrate, because it's like out here like mirrors again. And to me, it's harmful because the more we shut down the man, the more inadequate he feels. And that affects relationships. And that's and I'm not saying, oh, like, poor man. I'm not saying poor woman either. I just feel like this is just a video to look at both distortions, right? And as a woman, obviously I have my experience as the physical woman. But I need to give props to the man, because I know that there are men out there that are trying to step it up. And if you look at the men today, they're like afraid to talk, because then the woman's gonna turn around and say, "Oh, you don't know anything," and like, I am, I am, and it's like, no, man, can we allow? And it's not about overarching each other, and like, that's the thing, is there's this feeling of like, I have to be better than the man, and the man can't be better than the woman because he has been paid more in his life. I mean, when I hear about that, well, the equal pay, well, then go ask for more money. The woman doesn't go ask for more money. And if she goes to ask for more money, she doesn't get it, then ask again. Say, excuse me, he's getting $150,000, I'm getting $90,000. Doesn't make sense. I quit. Let's go. Let's change. You know what I'm saying? But we didn't do that. Because, again, we were like, and I'm not blaming the woman. It's not about a blame game either. I want that to be clear. You know, we have to look at our strengths and our weaknesses and where we fell short and where we overstepped too. And both man and woman. But we need to find the balance again. We need to unify together. And I feel like that's to me would be the end of everything, of all strife in this world. Would be the end of all of it. Poverty would be the end of all of this lack mentality, this imbalance of power, we would be working together in our roles. And there would be no jealousies and no like, oh, don't talk to, like, we wouldn't talk badly to each other anyways. And I'm not saying let's go back to the 1950s where the man is a provider, and like that's not the reality of life right now. Women work, women are owners, women are like leaders, and that's great. But can the woman receive, and is she doing it because she needs to prove herself, right? Is she just doing it because she loves it? But the problem here is not about this woman, the leader, the worker. The problem is the woman is unable to receive the love back because she is giving too much. And that's where we're trying to find a balance. And the man is unable to give because the woman is like, nope, I don't need you. What is that? What's that message we're sending to men? That we don't need you. Like, we just need you to procreate. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it's very unhealthy, and it creates this in the world. It creates a division in the world, and it creates this disharmony. And where I know so many men that want to provide for their families and want to create this safe spaces for women. Men are from Mars, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. It's true. Like, we're completely different, and can we accept those differences? Why do we have to change the man? Why does the man doesn't change us? Because God forbid he changes his woman, and then it's like, but we can change the man. That's the disconnect. Why can't we just work together? The man doesn't listen. Fine, we understand that. The woman is the big listener because she's the receiver and he's the giver. So, let's just work with those elements instead of changing each other and making ourselves more man and he's more woman. And that's the distortion, which I won't talk about right now. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to keep it brief. I can go on and on and on, but we don't want. It's pretty clear as to where I stand in this, and to me, my dream would be that we are working together, because if we're working together in the physical field, then my higher self is fully integrated into me, right? And I already feel like it's already integrating very strongly, and the evolution is very strong. But because I've created my life this way, where I've created a freaking trauma until I was like, whatever, 50-ish years old, and then now I'm at this place in my life where everything is a bit more calm, so that I can do the work that I need to do on this planet. So please let me know where you're from. I'm going to pull cards now because it's that's what I'll do. Right? And I'll put this back in here. So I'm going to ask a question for the divine feminine and for the divine masculine, because we are working together. So divine feminine, my question is, how can you open yourself more fully to receiving love and support, right? So I will pick a card or two or whatever wants to come out. The Temperance. Oh, that's so interesting. Temperance is a Sagittarius energy, which is a Sagittarius. It's Sagittarius, but it's a divine masculine energy, which shows up. But nurturing, this is perfect. Temperance to me actually is one of the cards of receiving, because it's a card about balancing your mental and your physical and your emotional needs, right? It's like the Temperance is one foot is in the water and one foot is on the earth. And he or she, I think it's he or she, whatever, I think it's Raphael, right? It's like balancing the water. And how do you receive more love? Is to fully stand in your power and to fully accept yourself as who you are. Temperance is asking you, there's all sides of you, feminine. There's you are the receiver, but you can also be the giver, of course, but you have to be able to balance it. Oh my God, it's like perfect, right? It's like this energy of because to me, this is the higher self and the physical self moving into integrating. And how are we going to do it if we are always dividing? And how are we going to do it if we're not trusting? Like, to me, he's trusting the water. Like, look, it's like he's in the air and he's trusting that the water gets into each cup. Trusting yourself, finding more time to take care of yourself, like take more baths if you can, or go into nature. There's a feeling here of like stepping back and not doing all the crazy, and like not doing everything and not being this multitasker like insane. Is taking time for yourself, because that's the only way you'll be able to start receiving again, is if you start taking more time for yourself and stop giving so much of love and everything. Stop giving too much. Find that happy harmony. So, in what ways can the masculine step into his power as a provider and a protector? Oh, okay. La 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 la. I'm getting a no for both of them, so that's good. I'm like, okay, because let's see. Wow, this card is Five of Wands. It's a masculine energy again. It's a Five of Wands, Leo. What ways can you step into your power as a provider? Is to stop fighting. Stop fighting your innate nature to want to protect. So like he's wanting to protect and provide and be of service to his divine feminine. But here he's fighting with himself. He's struggling. Oh my God, it's so interesting. So both of them, it's this balance of power. It's both of them. It's like the universe or the cards are saying, you know, masculine, you stop fighting, stop struggling, like trust your innate nature, trust yourself. Try not to fall into prey to all the narratives outside, or even all the energies outside that are trying to repress you, repress your service to self and to others. This is not a struggle. Let's work together. And the feminine needs to find the balance as well. She can't be putting all her freaking energy into relationships and all her freaking energy into everything. The only energy that she needs to be giving constantly is to her children, because they're extensions of you. But otherwise, you need to take 10 steps back. And we need to do it together. And be open to receiving. Both of us, the masculine and the feminine. Both giving and receiving, but together. So this is the reading. I mean, this is the reading. This is the talk. Leave a comment below. Let me know where you're at in this topic. And I may have triggered you, but that's not uncommon for Sabrina. She is a trigger. So we need to start talking about this. I feel like, for me, this integration of higher self with my physicality is integral if we want to move forward into the next evolution. And the only way that happens is if the outside divine masculine and feminine are finding peace and calm and harmony and balance together. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this. Check out my other Let's Talk videos, and also check out my weekly tarot videos and my podcast and all the things. I love you, and I will see you next time. All right.